What's going on, guys? Today we want to talk about landscape photography competitions, whether or not you should join one, my experiences with them, and the kinds of images that maybe you should consider putting into them in the future. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So I'm gonna put this to bed right now. This is not a video of me complaining about the fact that I didn't win International Photographer of the Year award. Or the Epson Pano Awards, or whatever it is. This is really about the fact that I want to share my experiences about the judging process and whether or not you should put images into these competitions in the future. I want to say right now that the images that were selected in the top 101 and for the top, I think it's 50 for the Epson Panos, are incredible images, and mine do not deserve to be in that category. So before you turn this video off because this guy's just complaining about the fact that these winners are, oh, they're no good. No, they are incredible images, and I do suggest you just stop this video right now and go check those out. They are absolutely amazing images, and you'll enjoy every single one. So that's not what this video is about. The video is also not about the conversation that's going on Facebook right now, but whether or not we should allow composite work into these competitions. It is up to the creators of these competitions to allow or disallow that kind of work. Going into a competition, it's up to you to look at the rules to see whether or not you are allowed composite work into a competition. And both of these contests, the Epson Pano Awards and the International Landscape Photographer of the Year Awards, both of those allow composite work into the competition. So by composite work, I mean dropping in skies, mountain stretching, that kind of thing. So you have to expect that this is the kind of imagery you're going to be going up against. So to complain about it afterwards, the fact that you see that the winners are, say they're all composite work and there's mountain stretching, all this other stuff that you don't necessarily agree with, isn't fair, because it's something you knew going into it. If you didn't want to compete against a bunch of composite work, then you shouldn't put your photos into a competition that allows composite work. So that's also not this conversation is about. It's simply about my experiences with these competitions, the judging process, and whether or not you should put photos in the future, and the kind of images that maybe you should consider in putting in for next year. So first, let's talk results for these competitions that I submitted to. So first, I submitted to 3 contests: the Epson Pano Awards, International Landscape Photographer of the Year Award, and a local contest called Sask Am. And so let's start with the Epson Pano Awards. So the scoring process, essentially you win a gold, silver, bronze award. So gold is a top 2%, silver is top 10%, and a bronze, I think, is top 33%. A gold award is anything 86 and above, 80 to 85 is a silver, 70 to 79 is a bronze. Now I scored 3 bronzes. I got a 77, 72, a 71. And then I have 2 images that didn't place, which is a 67 and a 63. So generally, okay, nothing to write home about. 3 bronzes is 3 bronzes. It's nothing that I would really be too excited about, but generally speaking, it's kind of roughly where I anticipated to be. There's one image that I do want to talk about though, and you'll see why when I share with you the International Landscape Photography of the Year results. So here, the top 101 got an 85.4 or higher. So it's the top 101 photographs in the competition. I think there's about 3,800 submissions. So I scored an 81.8, a 78.8, 78, 76.4, and a 74. So generally slightly better results than the Epson Panos. The year previous, so last year, I've submitted this awards for 3 years now. Last year I scored an 84.8 and the cutoff was 85.2. So I figured this year I'd do better. I guess not. But anyways, that's gonna be for another on this video. And so lastly, the Sask Am competition, I submitted this photo and another more intimate landscape, and I ended up winning the landscape category, I guess, with this photograph. Okay, so let's talk observations. So first, the Epson Pano Awards, they gave results back first. So I got the results back, and I was surprised to see 3 bronzes and 2 images that didn't place, especially the fact that the images that didn't place, one of them was steadfast, and that is personally my favorite photograph of 2020. It speaks to the resiliency of the human nature, to standing up, under trial, all kinds of different kind of human abstraction. And so I was surprised to see that it did so poorly. I mean, below at 67 is kind of bottom 50%. And so when you look at that, you're kind of like, well, why did you bother submitting that photo? Is it actually that good? Obviously it's not. If it scored a 67, like that's scary, scary low. But then as I went to visit the winners pages and scroll through all the winners images, and I quickly realized that, I mean, there is a serious lack of intimate landscapes in the winner's circle. The preference the judges had was for those wide epic photos, wide angle epic photos, and aerial photography. Now I'm not saying that's all there was some intimate landscapes, but the vast majority fit one mold. So the results didn't surprise me. When I looked at what the winners did and when I looked at what I submitted, they just simply didn't match up. And the one photo that did actually scored the highest. So that tells me maybe I just didn't submit the right photos for the competition. But I mean, doubt's creeping in my mind. So because I've got 2 photos that I did submit to both competitions, Persevere and Steadfast. So I'm curious, let's see what, the results come back. Maybe these photos are actually just garbage and I should be just trashing from the portfolio completely. So let's see. So I get the International Photographer of the Year results back, and to my surprise, I guess, Steadfast is the highest ranked photo that I submitted, 81.8. So I didn't really understand. How can you go from a 67 absolute garbage image, like trash, like the judges like gouged their eyes out, I don't want to see this, to an 81.8, which is a top 15% image in a contest dedicated, in both contests dedicated to landscape photography, nature photography. It's confusing. I didn't understand it. Even Persevere, the other image, went from a 71 to a 78. And again, when I went through the winners, I scrolled through and I found that most of the results, most of the winners, and again, this is very, very generalizing. You need to go and look at the photos yourself, but most of the winners were wide angle epics or aerial photography. I'd say a good 70% of it. There are some nice intimate photos that are way better than mine that made the cut, but a lot of them fit that same mold. And I honestly, on the International Photographer of the Year Award, I submitted none that fit that mold, 0. They were all intimate landscapes. I'm not saying that they're for everybody, because intimate landscapes are a very kind of specific subgenre of landscape photography, but it was very obvious to me after seeing the results from both of these awards that it was the wide angle epics that would do well. And so right on cue, results from the Sask Am competition. I submitted 2 photos. Again, I submitted Steadfast because I feel it's my strongest image from 2020. And I submitted this wide angle epic of Abraham Lake, because the winner last year submitted a wide angle photo with burning sunset in the mountains. And I thought, well, hey, I got some of those. I got lots of those actually. Why don't I submit one and see if it wins? Sure enough, it won first. And so in my mind, it just solidified the fact that in landscape photography right now, there is a preference for one style of images. And it's clear on Instagram, and you can see when you look through the Pano Awards and the Epson Awards and the Landscape Photographer of the Year Awards, that in mainstream landscape photography, there is a preference for one kind of photo. And not that it's a bad thing. The photographs that win these competitions are absolutely gorgeous photographs. They are amazing, incredible pieces of art, and they need to be enjoyed. And I do think they deserve to win. I'm not saying that intimate landscapes need to win a competition. I'm saying there's an inconsistency between these competitions that shows that there's a preference for a single kind of image, and that there really isn't a category for these intimate landscapes. Should you put photos into a photo contest? Yes. I think photo competitions are great things. I think having feedback from professional photographers on your work, even if it's just a score on a page, can help you. I know for me personally, every year these results come back, I'm challenged to grow. There's not a point where I think I've plateaued, I've done the best I can, because I've never won. I've never won the International Landscape Photographer of the Year. I've come close to being the top 101, but I've never actually won the competition. So yeah, I have room to grow. as a photographer. I have a lot of room to grow as a photographer. And so seeing the results helps me, it jumpstarts my creativity to know that, hey, I need to see a bit differently. I need to look at things in a different way so that I can make more personal images. And I need to work my processing so that it's cleaner, it's better, the colors work more harmoniously, and all these things come to mind when I get those results back. So none of that is bad things. It tells me that I have room to grow as an artist. And I think that's a great, great thing. So the only thing I'm going to caution you against is this. I'm going to use an analogy here. Back in university, I'd write papers early on, and I'd write them from my point of view. I'd pick topics I enjoyed, and I'd write them from my perspective for me, and then I'd hand them in to the professor and hope to get a good mark. Never did. I'd get C's, D's, fails. I mean, I got epic failures. And you learn very quickly. That's not how you get a good grade in university. You get a good grade in university by writing for the professor. You don't write for yourself. You write for the prof. You pick topics they'll enjoy. You write in a way that would please them. Not the way that would please you, but the way that would please them. That's how you get a passing grade. And you learn that very quickly in university. And so I would say this is somewhat of a similar analogy. And I think you need to be careful in doing that when you're going photography. Do not start to shoot images to please someone else. Take photos that are personal for you, and if they happen to fit what the judges are looking for in that year, then submit those images and you will do very well. And it's hard to know what that mold is every year because there is some variation, and this isn't a rule of thumb, of course. Like Adam Gibbs, for example, won a couple of years ago, and his work is not grand epic at all. It's very quiet, intimate scenes, and so he won. So this is not something that is every year, and every year results are a bit different. This is just my observation from this year and last year. Yes, enter competitions for that valuable feedback. It's going to push you forward. If you're in it to win it, though, take a look at the judge's portfolio. Treat it like a professor in college. Look at the portfolio. Look at the previous winners. Understand what they're looking for in an image, and then submit that set of images to the judges. Don't change the way you shoot, but if you have images that fit that mold, definitely submit those over top of ones that are maybe more personal to you. Submit those ones because they're going to do better ultimately than the photos that maybe you enjoy more. And so that is the moral of this video. Competitions are not objective, they are subjective. It's up to the judges to pick images that they like best. And so ultimately, if you're going in there thinking that your images are good because you like them, that is the wrong way to approach a competition. So question of the day, what's your thoughts around contests? Have you entered any in the past, this year? Did you get any good feedback? What was the process like for you? I'd love to hear that. And until the next time, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Cheers.